and I'm very active. You say that I'm active in music, I'm active in business, I'm active in the world, very active in politics. I'm just all over, man, trying to do the best for the best while being the best. You feel me?
So, tonight we're going to talk about a variety of topics.
Going around the world.
I'm so excited to have you on the show, Ben.
Oh, man.
Because you have such a unpopular perspective on the issues that plague our community, but your ultimate goal is still the same.
True.
Just the pathway to get there is completely different.
Like ATVs, off-road vehicles, baby. Let's get it.
Oh my God.
What's up?
I'm sticking around for the unpopular opinion.
Oh man.
Man, that's what's up.
So, first things first.
What's up?
Let's talk about, we have Martin Luther King Day coming up.
Yes.
We have the parade coming up.
Yes.
We have various programs and events to honor his memory. What do you see we can do better here in Savannah with honoring the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King when it comes to the events, when it comes to the recognition, when it comes to just our own civil rights leaders here in Savannah? What can we do to have a better presence at these events and to educate our children?
You gotta want to.
Okay.
You gotta want to. That's something that my dad truly raises me on is anything and everything that you do, if you're going to be successful at it, you gotta want to. I feel like we have to want to know who Martin Luther King was, what he stood for, and how could we move forward. Most people get to, I have a dream today that my children will, okay, respect. But what about the things that came after the dream? What about fulfilling the dream? What happened to fulfilling the character content and not judging by the color of the skin? Because, I mean, if we're going to say we're honoring him, we're truly not. Because everything that we do and everything that happens, the first thing that we do is throw up, oh, it's because it's the color of my skin. Oh, it's because it's the color of my skin. But what are you doing to actually show that the character that's beyond the color of that skin is everything that he said he stood for? Because that's what he was about. He was a man who was moving on the principles of Jesus that everyone says that they follow. So I'm going to treat my brother better. I'm going to treat my sister better. I'm going to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, we are teaching people how to live and how to survive and how to make their families better. Not how I'm going to go to someone and ask them, you know what I'm saying, to give me some fish. I'm hungry. Give me some fish. No, bro. Come learn how to fish. I got plenty of hooks. I can show you where you can get some worms for. I can tell you that, hey, don't put them worms in no salt water because them things going to disintegrate. You got to go to some fresh water. If you want to do some saltwater fishing, you got to get what saltwater fish eat. You know? So,
but do you think that as minorities, that, and especially in Savannah as African Americans, that we're not awarded the same amount of hooks as our white counterparts?
I think we are. I think we are. Actually, I'm gonna say we know we are. Now, can we get those hooks as easily? Nah, bruh, because we don't own the hook shop. You know, but I do know that there are people who are willing to give us hooks. I know that because of where I'm sitting right now. With the person that I'm sitting right now, you know, this is a hook.
Yeah.
This is something to reach the people. So I'm not going to say they don't exist. We just take the ones that we want, and the ones that we don't, we don't. So we got to change up our perspective. Where are the hooks? What are the hooks?
So how can we get to own the hook shop then? Because what I'm seeing right now, and we discussed this last night, especially when it came to trade policies and business resources, you see that the city of Savannah now has done away with the Minority Woman Business Program, and so has a lot of municipalities, the states, and even federally. They have done away with Minority Woman Business Programs, and they have incorporated the disadvantaged business programs.
Okay, so here's the deal. Shouts out to Miss Scott. I see you're watching. They didn't do away with any programs. They changed the name of the programs. And the reason that they changed the name of the programs is because we say that we're tired of being judged by the color of our skin or race, as we like to attach it. You know, we don't want to be judged by just being black or being this. We want to, okay, cool. We're going to put you over in disadvantage because clearly, starting of our conversation, we're disadvantaged. We don't own the hook shops. We don't have any hooks. We aren't offered hooks. That's a disadvantage. So here we are. Is we're going to change it. We're not going to base it on your color or your gender. We're just going to say you're disadvantaged because you're not a 45-year-old white male. Because clearly, well, not clearly, but when it comes down to the classification of minority or woman-owned business, it's because you're not a white male.
True,
That's
but
where that subset comes from, you not being a white male. But you're disadvantaged. You're not as connected as a white male. So we're going to give you these. I mean, the set-asides are still there. Actually, some of the set-asides are a lot better. But the problem is, when we step up and to go do those jobs, do we truly do those jobs?
so are you saying that minority businesses are not as competent?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. And I'm not saying that it's all of them. I'm not saying that it's all of them. But I am saying that, yes, it does happen. Am I saying that white or Mexican or Asian businesses are more competent than us? Not at all. But I'm saying that we have a lot of incompetent people. I, being a person who have a demolition company, has had to sometimes come in after people, you know what I'm saying, who are similar to me, who were incompetent, and now I have to clean up the job. You know what I mean? That has happened. I've heard people say, even our own people, on Facebook, I see it often. Don't go holler at this mechanic because this mechanic got over on me. Mm-hmm. They say handle or shop with our people, but he got over on me on my. Next time I'm gonna go to the white shop.
I don't think that we should support slack business at all, but that's not to say that, the majority of businesses that are African American are slack.
I didn't say the majority of them were. I'm just saying that record shows that we deal with incompetency. And once you deal with incompetency a couple of times in this facet, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to stay away from that. If you keep going down this particular road on this side of town and everyone you go down has potholes, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be like, you know what? Not going on that side of town. It messes up my tires. Every time I drive on a road on this side of town, something happens to my car and it costs me money. So I'm just not going to go over there. Not saying that it's a bad side of town, but every time I go down the road on this side of town, something happens and it costs me money. I can't fault anyone for saying that, hey, I'm not going to do that.
So do you think the incompetency is lack to the barriers to resources?
No. I don't think it's the barrier to resources. I think that incompetency comes with complacency. I think that people get, comfortable in the fact that, oh, I do this and I got this job. I got it. So I'm just going to get through it. I'm going to get the check and I'm going about my business. Not understanding the in-between. And then certain in-betweens come in that they didn't look at or didn't expect to come and get caught up. And it happens. It's just, do you learn from that? Do you try and build from it? Or do you just say, oh, whatever, I'm going to take this L and go about my business?
So, speaking of complacency and driving that to a different arena, do you think that as African Americans we are complacent with our place in society, whether it be economically and financially, whether it be educationally, community-wise? Do you think that we're complacent with our place in society and we're okay with mediocrity?
Yes. I do think, for the most part, there are a lot of us who are complacent with mediocrity. Are there people who are there any other sector of us that is moving forward and not trying to be complacent and that are trying to be upper echelon, if you would, and show that, hey, look, we don't stop down here. We are great. Yes, I do believe that there are plenty of us who are actually moving in that arena. But are all of us moving in that arena? No. Mm-hmm. Why are we all not moving in that arena? Turn on the radio station.
Right.
Anyone in their right mind can know that, you know what, those are really words that I don't want my kids hearing. Those are words that I don't want anyone from out of town who don't know anything about me hearing and thinking about me. But nope, they getting their check. They getting their money. So who am I to judge? You know, we hear that a lot. Who am I to judge?
Well, before you continue, I need to I need to say these disclaimers because this is definitely going to be a controversial show. But the viewpoints expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of WRUU, the license holder, or its staff. The following program contains subject matter and realistic language that some listeners may find objectionable. Listener discretion is advised. Continue.
Put those disclaimers out there.
Yes.
The disclaimers out there.
But you see that list right there.
Yes.
Just stick to the list.
I'm doing pretty good.
Yes, you are. I'm proud of you.
I'm used to the radio. So this is not my first time in radio. I actually have a background in radio. So I'm very aware of the air broadcasting. Even though turn on any of our stations, you can't tell the FCC exists. But, you know, FCC exists, and I respect them. I don't want to have to be the bearer of a fine or get an email saying, hey, man, you owe me a $1,500 check. So, yeah, I'll be respectful.
Well, back to complacency.
Yeah, man. But I do believe that, you know, there are a lot of people who are complacent. Just look at, we're going to talk about generational things. Let's look at people, you know what I'm saying, for generations after generations who, you know what I'm saying, oh, my grandma stayed in this particular projects. My mom got of age. Mom had me. She got an apartment on the next building over in these particular projects. And this is the neighborhood that I know. My grandma stays here and my mom stays here. And I'm used to it. I don't see anything wrong with these apartments. This is where I stay. You know, and then in turn they grow up and they get someone and they move into those apartments, as opposed to, you know what I'm saying, why didn't the mom get into the housing program that's a part of these projects and move up? You know, why didn't they move up into the next phase of their lives and to live in the neighborhood? But they were completely comfortable and okay with living in this situation until something happens and, oh, they got me in these houses and da-da-da-da-da, but you could have been under there.
Right.
And the rent that you was paying could have been going towards the down payment of the house that your family could be living in that is owned. And then now you're a grandmother with your own house and you taught your kid how to move money. And now instead of getting an apartment at the next building over, they got a house next door or around the corner, you know?
So with that being said, yes, they can buy those houses in the neighborhood, but do you think that's really improving the neighborhood?
No.
Because that was and I actually agree with that, because that was the biggest push for building those houses in those impoverished neighborhoods. Oh, you know, we're going to encourage home ownership and that's going to increase property values, bring the tax revenue in and make the schools better,
you know what
neighborhoods are better.
Home ownership brings more responsibility.
Yeah.
I grew up I don't even know how to operate a lawnmower. I grew up never operating a lawnmower. Now I have a house and I have to own a lawnmower.
Right.
I got to know that I got to take the gas out of it, you know what I'm saying, at the end of lawnmower season, because if I don't, I'm going to mess up my carburetor, you know what I mean? I got to, but you see, that's things that's responsibility that comes along with home ownership that people will shy away from. So even millennials now, they talk the good game of I want to own a house, but once they get into it, no, I'd rather rent, because guess what? My toilet's broke. Instead of me calling, you know what I'm saying, Roto-Rooter, I'm going to call the office, and the office is going to come and fix my toilet. You know, my AC went out. Instead of me having to call Climate Air or Polar Air, I'm going to call my front office, and my front office is going to take care of it. That's moving, you know what I'm saying, to where we are in a entitled or a done-for society. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people pick up that phone, and it's taken care of. Mommy, daddy, granddaddy, front office, leasing office, dorm leader. They're going to take care of it. Not, oh man, what am I going to do to actually take care of it myself? How am I going to move forward to take care of it? And anything, and it's crazy because we have infinite knowledge at our fingertips.
But we always go back to the same thing. You got to know what you're looking for.
You got to want to look. No one, when Cardi B and Offset started talking, They typed in a few words, Cardi B Offset dating. And it popped up. You know, New Jordan. Yeah, people look for that stuff. I guarantee you, if you type in, you can type in car, and Cardi B is going to pop up. Because it's that many people who look it up. That's the way, you know what I'm saying, the algorithm works on Google. So they can look for what they want to, and they tend to. You know, Jordan release dates. People don't know when them J's coming out, but if they type in new Jordans, they come out.
So how can we change the mentality of people?
They gotta want to. I'm always go back to that. They have to want to.
But how do you know if you want to do something if you've never been exposed to it?
You get an idea from somewhere. Somewhere there's an idea invoked in your mind. A lot of these designer drugs that are popping up, that people are getting into, it was mentioned, and then they went to it.
So subconsciously. So basically we have to like subconsciously manipulate people to want more for our society to grow.
If you can't tell, if Martin Luther King Day is coming up, okay? Martin Luther King preached on a lot of things that we should have. That was the 60s, okay? And he was speaking on funding our, pooling our monies together, funding our businesses, taking care of our schools, taking care of our neighborhoods, taking care of our brothers. These are things that we supposedly heard growing up for the past 50 some odd years. That notion was put in your mind. That idea was there. And I know it's there because every January 15th, here you go.
Yeah.
So the idea is there, but it's an idea that you care about at the time.
So his push, Martin Luther King's push, was more for integration and equal rights. Do you think that was a step in the wrong direction?
So I'm on the fence with that one. Yeah, that's something, that's a line that I walk down, because I do believe that we should be able to live together. You know, we're here together. There's no reason why we can't live here together. However, I do not believe anything that a person does not believe in should be pushed on them. I don't believe it.
So you think we should not have forced white America to allow us into their better schools?
Allow us into their better schools. Just allow me, and that's what we got caught up in. We got caught up in. I hear this often. You know, my dad is coming up on 70 years old. You know, so I'm around a lot of elder people, and one thing that I heard that we got caught up on was the white man's ice is colder. All right, meaning, oh, we got hamburgers over here, but man, I heard Johnny Harris had some great hamburgers. So now that we can get into Johnny Harris, we're just going to always go to Johnny Harris instead of going to Auntie Johnny's, you know what I'm saying, to eat the burgers like we was. All that I got from it is that, hey, you're coming up with all these bull reasons on why I can't have some new lumber to redo or to remodel my stuff, or why I can't have a better plug at Better Meat. You're coming up with all these reasons on why I can't do it. Remove those barriers so that I have the same opportunity to purchase from vendors as you do, so that I can do better for my people.
Right.
That's where we were supposed to go. But instead, oh man, it's like anything, and I noticed that anything they say that we can't have, we push towards saying that we can. And then once we get it, we direct ourselves somewhere else. And that's where, in that whole movement, that's why I see it, because I see it as, you know, hey, you're gonna let me get better books because I want to buy new books for you're gonna let me take control of my school so I can do what I need to do for my kids. You don't have to teach my kids anything.
Okay.
You just let me get the books that I want for my kids. Just let me get the necessary tools that I need for my community, and that's it. Don't, you know what I'm saying, when I'm coming down the road with my shipment, Don't have your crazy people standing in the middle of the road saying, where you think you going with this? I think I'm going to my neighborhood, and I think you best move out my way before I reach
Straight
under
up.
my seat.
Straight up.
And I probably won't have to reach under my seat because I got a truck full of riders with me.
Straight up.
You know, that's my vision. But instead it was, hey y'all, we can finally go to Sears. Hey y'all, we can finally go here. Hey y'all, we can finally go there. And everybody went there, and we stopped dealing with our businesses. And when we stopped dealing with our businesses, they fell down.
Facts.
We stopped dealing with our neighborhoods because now we can move to the south side.
Facts.
Now we can move, you know what I'm saying, into Southbridge.
Facts.
So it could change. I believe that it'll start with us, the ones who are like 26, 27, 28, up to about, I don't know, 36, 37.
So move back
somewhere
to
right there.
more segregated.
I'm not pushing for any segregation. Okay, I'm not about segregation at all. But just by pure mental makeup, we do that anyway.
How so?
You ever went to a BC versus Beach game?
No.
Never? No?
I know.
Yeah, okay.
Listen, Savannah High and Beach was enough for me. They were shooting
Okay.
out there, and I was like, I'm done with games. Done with them. So enlighten me.
So go to any public place, you know what I'm saying? Oh, let's say a school bus or something. School bus. Lunchroom. No, everyone's been to a lunchroom in the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
Look in the lunchroom of the cafeteria. By nature, we flock to who we are most comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
You have the emos over here. You got the cheerleaders over here. Tend to have a group of black kids over here. White kids. You see the separation.
Yeah.
By mental makeup, we do that anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to be where you're most comfortable at.
Yeah. So.
So can't really stop that, you know. But as long as we're able to be cordial with each other, we can go into, like, if everyone wants to go into Walmart, we can go into Walmart. It cannot be a shootout in Walmart.
So speaking of being cordial with each other, we're going to move on to the controversial topics, especially what happened yesterday. And I know you researched it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a chance to really identify I haven't had a chance to validate it.
Mm-hmm.
About the president's comments
Mm-hmm.
about Haiti and him wanting more Norway immigrants and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So have you validated that he actually said that?
I haven't validated that he actually said it. And from what I'm understanding, even when I called you sitting outside, I was trying to get more validation. It hasn't been validated anywhere that, hey, these are actual words that came out of this meeting.
Right.
Someone came out and said that they were words, but the source that dropped it originally was anonymous.
Right.
Okay. And whether does it sound like it's within his character to say? Yes, it does. And anyone who knows me knows very well that I have been a Trump fan before. Fan. Okay, a fan, an understander, way before he ran for office. All right, I've been studying this guy and following this guy way before he got in office. When I'm talking about time when he was like, nope. Not going to run for president. Can't get me to run for president. I can't stand those people. Don't want to work up there. It's a mess. I'm talking about, he was saying this in the 90s. I'm talking about camera footage grainy as I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, don't want to do it. So this is me saying that, yes, this is definitely within his character to say. Do I believe he said it? Yeah. You know, because honestly, I've heard, and this is the funny thing, and this is what I'm trying to get people to understand. Man, these same people who are jumping on him about saying this are the same people who have said this about these same countries time and time and time again. But because they know that we people, are waiting for any chance and opportunity to jump, pounce on anything that he says, it'll be a great reason to say it. How do I know that these people feel this way? I know that the Haiti earthquake happened when AJ and Free was on 106 and Park.
Oh, that was long.
It was a long time ago, right?
Long time ago.
And they only had like 10 houses built by the Red Cross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's not even talk about that.
Now, so we're gonna get on him for saying, well, they treated them like these same expletives that they say he said for years. 10 houses from all the money we gave to the Red Cross and the Clinton Foundation and whoever else, and there's only 10 houses. And I think I'm being nice by saying 10 houses because I think it's less than that.
Yeah.
I think it's less than that.
I think I read that somewhere too.
I'm looking at neighborhoods pop up in Pula in the span of 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. All facts.
But that's not done down there. Now, let's get to the of that. Right? Because now they threw it out there that, oh man, he called all these African countries and Hades these expletives, and why is it that we can't get more people like Norway? Well, what was the comparison? Because the first thing that people are saying when mentioning the comparison is, oh, he's being racist because he don't want blacks, he want whites. No. What he has always stated was, hey, we need moralistic people coming into this country. We need a merit-based system of people coming into this country. Because we have enough people running amok. But why are they coming here? Why? What reason is it that they're coming here? I know. I am well aware.
Wow.
Because there's opportunity. The opportunity that the hooks that we just said don't exist, they know exists. And they're coming to get them because we aren't getting them like we're supposed to. Because they know if they put some hard work in, they gonna make some stuff flip. I know this because I do a lot of business with foreign people. I have some great Indian friends. I have some great African friends, which I'm finna go holler at because in this same sense of talking about expletive countries, I'm dealing with someone right now who I'm in the process of getting enrolled into college. He's here from overseas. I got put into this international office with these students, and I have a screaming liberal. I know she hadn't told me.
Like
Yeah,
that's a dirty
I mean, I'm not saying it's a dirty word. I'm not at all. You know what I'm saying? But like, this is you know, like I'm sure if I walked up to her car, it was a Team Hillary bumper sticker on the back of it. I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure. But we had a conversation today, and she gave a whole nother side to that. Like, she didn't say anything about the expletive, but the conversation that she was giving me, I can tell. Like, wow. You're probably one of the only ones that I know that have other side to that story who are like, yes, like, I'm not saying that he was right, but yes, these countries are this because these countries they are sending people over. Mm-hmm. They really are, to come and take advantage of the resources and send it back home.
Okay.
They're doing that. They're dropping off their people to run the checkup and then come back over there or send over there and bring more people over here to do that. That's happening. We do have people. If you check the last, the dude that bombed the subway in New York, it happened within the last 2 months.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
Can't remember his name at this point in time. This is not really. But the fact remains that he was here on a visa program, on an immigration visa program. And it was attached and came in through like a relative of a relative. Didn't know who he was, hadn't checked his mental state or anything. And then boom, that happened.
Right.
You know? I can't get mad at someone who's like, hey man, look, we need to validate this a lot more better. We need to verify who, what, where, when, why, how, what, why. What, why? You sure why? That's why? Okay, cool. You sure? Great. Because I do that now.
Yeah.
With my people.
And I have to agree to that point, but I have an issue when you want to blast foreigners and then you call the people in Charlottesville some very fine people.
Both sides.
On both sides.
On both sides. I believe that too. I'm gonna tell you why.
Please enlighten me.
Because we go somewhere, right? We're at a basketball game. We're at a Beach and Savannah High game. Same situation pop off. We're in there. We're at a game. Somebody does something stupid. All heck breaks loose. Mm-hmm. All right. Ooh. Were there good people there before? Everybody's not fighting. Everybody's not fighting. Everybody is not there for fighting. It causes something crazy. Yeah. Can we not step up and say, hey, look, I'm sure there was good people on both sides before this just all went crazy?
If I show up somewhere with tiki torches and
why go mess with them? Why go mess with them?
What you mean?
Why go? Those people put their permits in. Those people actually did everything they were supposed to do within law to be there. We knew that they were going to be there with those ideologies. Why go mess with them?
So you wouldn't say that their presence inside of the riot?
I'm not going. I'm not going. If I didn't go, there wouldn't have been a riot.
So we just let them flock around town?
If they paid
being bandits?
If they paid their money, being bandits, they were all good until the other people went and they got to it.
Their image and their presence incites a feeling of anger.
It doesn't matter. They were there. If we, Monday, MLK parade, or downtown marching in celebration of MLK, right? Mm-hmm. And people who are against MLK come and mess with us, and we get to fighting. We were in the right to be there. Mm-hmm. We got permits. We got streets blocked off. We got police. We got flyers. News that everybody's going to be there. They know what it is. And they come mess with us. We would expect to be protected by the law because we did what we were supposed to do. We didn't ask for that fight. We asked to peacefully assemble and to say what we had to say. In this country, we have the right to do that. We also have the right to disagree. We don't have the right to run up and hit someone. We don't have the right to go and disrupt them, even though we feel like it's comfortable. That's not fair to us. Because as soon as the shoe is on the other foot, we're going to get mad.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with that one because even with the legal permits and even with everything that they had going on and they were there first, the fact is that you assembled with the intent to demonstrate hate
in an all-white city. In an all-white city.
So
in an all-white city.
The intention was still there.
It doesn't matter. They had the right to do it. This country gives them the right to do that. Now, if we feel as though it's that we don't want them to have the right to do that, guess what we do?
Enlighten me.
We change the laws.
But then that affects everything because you can't determine intent in the law.
Can you?
It's loose. All laws are loose. All laws are loose. So if you say, well, you cannot assemble with the intent of discriminating against a group or demonstrating hatred towards a group, then it's just like, okay, well, you can say that Black Lives Matter can't assemble because the statement Black Lives Matter makes it seem like no one else's lives matter. That's
the slippery slope that you create when you go to micromanage. Instead of micromanaging your actions, instead of handling your actions accordingly and understanding what they will make happen, you open the door for that. So I do feel like, hey, I don't mess with them. I'm not going to mess with them. Look, I can't stand you. I despise you. I am not finna run up on you. I am not finna make it a bigger issue than what it needs to be.
I hear you. Let me cut in real quick with some promo ads. We got Savannah River Keeper. The Savannah River Keeper presents the 8th annual Roast on the River, a benefit for the organization, the primary guardian of the Savannah River, providing education, advocacy, and action for the river's 10,000 square mile watershed. The event will take place at Hogan's Marina on Wilmington Island on January 20th, 2018. For more information, visit SavannahRiverKeeper.org. You are listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. All right, back to this.
So,
We live, baby, yeah.
all up in my phone.
It's your bad. So, since we brought up Black Lives Matter, what's your take on them?
The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me, Bob.
Yes.
I can't stand them. I know that's harsh.
It's pretty harsh.
It's
right
pretty
there.
harsh. It is, and it's only because, like, everything is within the name. Everything is within the name. All right. So, if we're gonna say Black Lives Matter, and I'm not even jumping on the All Lives Matter situation, because truly, for the most part, all lives matter. You know, I will say for the most part, because there are some that would just be like, hey, you know what? The law gave us right, so we're gonna go ahead and exercise this right.
Right.
But I feel like, you know what I'm saying, within that name, you know what I'm saying, Black Lives Matter, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, Black Lives Matter. I only hear Black Lives Matter when it's another person taking a black's life. You know what I'm saying? I would so believe in Black Lives Matter wholeheartedly if they stepped up and said, you know what, our lives do matter. Our respect do matter. So what we're going to do is, on the complete playing field, is make sure that everyone respects and honors that the lives of black people do matter, especially us black people. I think that we have the most disrespect to each other than any white person could ever give us.
I have to agree with
You know,
that.
I hear consistently, I'm a DJ by one trade, and there's music that I have to play that people have made popular that really just makes me sick. I'm hearing people in different ways tell me how much money they have will cause them to take my girl. And now I'm thinking like, dang, I done heard her say, ooh, Lord, he look good. So what's going to happen if he comes to my city?
Right.
You know? And not only her, she's a perspective. And I heard her say the same thing about somebody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's disrespectful. You're coveting another man's wife. You're purposely doing it. You have no care about it. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me how much you're willing to take someone's life. You're telling me how much you done took someone who looks like me life. You know what I'm saying? That's some very disrespectful things that I think that we should do. We have, I talk to people often. It's like, okay, you know what? Cops are killing us at a disproportionate rate. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. How many people died in Savannah last year?
Was it 53?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
How many of those were taken by a cop?
None.
How many of them was taken by another color?
Yeah, none. And
None.
it was all people really that they knew.
People that they knew. And nowhere did anyone step up from that campaign and say, hey, enough is enough. Same thing in Chicago. 600 some odd deaths last year.
Yeah.
No one stepped up and said anything. I would love to believe in the cause, but what I'm seeing is that if it's not racially motivated to cause a big stink online or anywhere, they don't care. And that bothers me, because I do feel like our lives matter, which is why I do so much to talk to young people to help them realize that the decisions that they make will make or break them.
Right.
Because our lives matter.
So Anthony asked, and is like slightly rhetorical, but it is a good question. Where all lives matter when a black boy gets shot? Because it seems like that hashtag was only proposed to rebut Black Lives Matter. And it's like, I mean, I don't expect there to be an actual All Lives Matter organization.
Like the saltiest cracker in the box.
What?
Like that hoodie. Like
Right.
that rebuttal hoodie.
Right.
Yeah, Okay. We all do rebuttals, you know what I'm saying? We all see things and feel some type of way, so we got to step up and feel like, oh, I'm being attacked, so let me
That was
attack back.
actually really wrong, though.
It
Because,
was.
first of all, well, we going to talk about that whole situation, but to attack kids in general
That's
is
wrong.
wrong. So, you know, that was something that should have attacked the company. Don't change the other kid's shirt. Now it's a big deal because you don't bother people's
You don't
kids.
bother people's kids.
But we going to get back to
We'll
that.
come back to that one. We'll come back to that one. Yes, like I say, I don't know, and that is a good question. But again, they both were created in not a place to better anybody. You know what I mean? It was just created to really push the agenda of both sides. Oh, I feel like they're attacking me, so now let me go ahead and let me get my defense and offense up, and I'm going to attack them too.
Right.
So again, like they're all a crock. You know what I mean? Like we already know they all matter. You know what I'm saying? But again, show us all that they all matter. When someone in your family, you know what I'm saying, meets an early demise, you need to step up and y'all need to talk and this needs to be handled. Like,
Right.
period. And we need to stop this. But the fact that we are continuously pushing the ideology, I don't expect it to stop.
Anthony, I see you made another comment about white men kill more people in the U.S. than any other group in the U.S.
Where that number at?
Well, actually, I do want to speak on that because something happened some years. I think when the Ferguson situation happened, and I started looking up FBI statistics, and you can see based on the crime, what race committed it, and who it affected. And so, white men killed more white men than black men killed more black men.
What's the Asian number? I want to be near the Asian number.
Well, you got to understand population
I
statistics.
want to be
as
by
well,
the Asians number.
because we are not labeled minorities just to make us feel like we're less than. It's because of population statistics. So yes, Anthony, they do because of population statistics. But if you're looking at what's the word I'm looking for, like a comparison of the population. So, like, we couldn't, as a city, we couldn't compare ourselves to Chicago. We have to compare.
Right. I mean,
you know what I'm talking about.
Well,
I can't think of it.
Because of population density, you couldn't necessarily, because they have way more people than us. However, though, they do ratio it.
Ratios.
They do ratio it and make it to where, you know what I'm saying, hey, just by the sheer numbers, if Savannah had this many people, then they would probably be in line with Chicago. But being that they don't have that many people, their numbers are right here. But based on the numbers, yeah, it lines up that, yeah, they're right in pace to be with them. And I think that's a problem. Again, I personally don't care what any other community does. My worry is my community. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking up at, hey, we lost 53 people last year. We should have lost no one at the hands of no one unless
It was
they
for
were
defense.
protecting themselves.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely agree.
So I don't care what their numbers are. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about the numbers that look like me, because if anyone hasn't noticed, you know, especially the ones asking questions, you know what I'm saying? I have long dreads. You know, I have a reason to be messed with because
You look like the
I
typical.
look like the typical person who's
Right.
committed something. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Until they pull me and they run my name and they're like, "Oh, hey,
Not what I expected.
my bad."
Not what I expected.
So that's really what it is. But like, I mean, we can fix it. But again, we have to start loving ourselves. And it's crazy because I was listening to the radio today, and it was a dude who said a Kanye verse, and he didn't know that he was saying a Kanye verse. I don't think he knew that he was really saying a Kanye verse.
Speak about it.
But he was like, we're in school, you know what I'm saying, in this country, learning how to hate ourselves, how to not be in touch with who we are. We have to
They made us hate ourselves and love they wealth.
And that's what he said in so many words. Like I said, I don't think
Yeah.
he realized he was saying it. It was like, wow, here's this person who I'm quite sure was Caucasian, stating, hey, we're in these schools, we're in these businesses, these corporate push think tanks, and they're teaching us how to hate ourselves and not be in connect with the history that we came from and to learn what they want us to learn and to be a certain way. And then in turn, we are following behind their money and stuff because we're trying to keep up with paying the bills and keeping all this new stuff. And I'm like, wow. I don't even think he knows that he's saying a Kanye verse right now, but he's actually speaking the truth because that's what is happening. Like, we are more and more learning how to hate ourselves and be in love with the materialistic things that we think will bring value to our lives, and that's not what it is.
I absolutely agree. But I also think that we have been manipulated into coveting these things for so long. Because look at the redlining policies. Look at the barriers to economic resources.
We're breaking them down. Piece by piece, we're tearing them down.
Now we are, but so much conditioning has occurred throughout the years. And just like you said, when we started integrating our business, just in society, we thought that white was better. And so because of that conditioning, we still kind of adhere to that structure to this day. Even, I mean, I don't hear it as much anymore, but when I was a kid, you know, I would hear it all the time, just speaking proper English and like, oh, you talking white. Like, you know, like that's either, you know, people want to be around you because you sound smart, or people just are jealous of you because you sound like you don't want to be black or something. It's just like, you know, where do we finally draw the line and say, you know what, we have a culture, we need to protect our culture, however we need to be progressive about our movements in our culture?
So basically, I would think that we would have to get like mind, move with like mind, move forward with like mind, and express that this right here is our culture. This is what we believe, this is how we think, this is how we move. Now, that person may look like me, that person does not think like me, therefore that person is not a part of my body of people, because my people share the same ideology. My people respect each other. My people respect others.
Do we segment ourselves? Because I don't see that in other communities, even when they don't have like-minded ideologies. Think about it. I have to give President Trump a lot of credit in his area. He made a lot of poor, rural, white people really admire him, and he has absolutely nothing in common with them except for the color of his skin. And they go to bat for him, and it's just like they don't have the same ideologies, and he's, you know, you know his policies better than I do, but you know, I can't come to the conclusion that he's going to do what's best for me if he doesn't even understand me. So why is it that, you know, everybody else can be on the same page whether they think alike or not, but we have to segment ourselves?
Because I don't think that there are enough of them to really... they're okay with him being the rich guy, getting a bigger piece of pie, as long as they feel like they get enough to help better them and their family and what they're moving for. They're good for it. We, on the other hand, we have a problem doing business with each other because we don't want to see us making more money than each other.
That's true. That's true. That's an issue.
You're getting this? Well, why you get this and I can't get that? What you mean?
That's true. Because I saw someone post that, like, you don't walk into everybody else's store and ask, Brooke Button. Shouts out to Brooke. And she's over there doing nails, and Bobby's over there slaying massages. I like y'all. Y'all like a power couple. Love it. Anyway, but she's working at Pretty and Polished, the only all black employed nail salon here in Savannah.
Okay, turn up.
And she mentioned earlier, you know, why do you ask for discounts here? You don't go anywhere else and ask for discounts. And I think that's a big issue. we can say that our businesses may have issues in certain areas, and that I do agree with. But we also, as consumers, are much harder on our black businesses than we are with anybody else. Why is it so hard to do business with black businesses as consumers? Because we can have one bad experience, and it's not even necessarily a customer service issue, like you just forgot to put the whipped cream on my coffee or something like that. Shots out to Russell with Indulge. But I can't say certain things, so I just have to say shots out. But it could be something simple like that, like, oh, now I'm gonna write a whole 3-paragraph essay as to why you should never do business there, and then we have social media, and now you're slandering people's business. We are so damaging to our own business. It's one thing to flight to other businesses. We got enough Starbucks as it is, but when we slander somebody's business, it's even worse. So it seems like we're never going to prosper because of the mentality that we have, that we've been called minority for so long, we think we are minor. The people need to hear you laugh. They can't hear you.
I'm choking on my laugh here, man. 'Cause that is a very funny situation. I deal with it all the time. You know what I'm saying? As a DJ, hey man, how much you charge? XYZ. Oh, why you charge that? Well, I gotta play for 4 hours. You want me to bring sound? I got to get there to set up. I got to make sure it's right. Then I got to break down. I'm the first one there and last one to leave.
Right.
That's why my price is where it is. Pay for what you get.
Right.
But we won't. We have a problem with that. We don't want to see us get more money. We don't want that sum of money to leave our hands and go to another's. I don't know what it is. I really believe it's conditioning. It's definitely something that is hard-grained in the mental. And there are certain ways to get rid of things that are hard-grained into the mental. But I guess to remove something hard-grained into the mental will be a pretty extreme measure, if you would, because you're removing the way that you're changing the way that someone thinks, that they're completely comfortable with. That's something extreme. But in order to do something extreme, you'll have to do something extreme to get it done.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem that we're facing. I don't think it will happen. I think that we have gotten too accepting of a lot of too much of everything, that it'll just be very hard for it to happen. I think the only way for us really to move forward and the things that we're trying to move to do is to probably build our own city, build our own neighborhoods, get everything together and move from there. Trying to assimilate with them, if you would, to make things where we feel like it'll be to get us in a better position. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're too complacent. I think they're okay with not knowing a lot of things, because knowing a lot of things, a lot of important things, again, puts more responsibility on you. And nobody wants a lot of responsibility. We want to pay bills. We want to buy stuff. That's as much as a responsibility as we'd like to have.
So do you think there'll ever be another Black Wall Street?
Yeah, I do. Because there are enough of us who are actually moving to honestly do business with each other. So being that I know that we're doing business with each other, we're making business, we're actually making a lot. If you really look at, the history of innovation around the world, we've always been the leaders of innovation. So being that we've always been the leaders of innovation, we're always going to be able to be put on that field. What we'll have to do is, again, it'll have to be enough of us like-minded to really move into that situation. I think there'll be Black-owned leagues soon, I think that Black-owned airlines are going to pop off, bigger than what they are now, because a lot of Black movement around the world economically is shifting. And I know a lot of people give him slack and say that, he's racist, he can't stand Black businesses, he can't stand Black people. But if you would just honestly just sit back and look at his policies that are being the ones that aren't being talked about, because there's been so many regulations that has been removed, and not just for making oil or digging coal, you know what I mean? Because that's the one thing that everybody likes to run and say is that, oh, well, he's doing that for oil and coal. Well, if you knew, you know what I'm saying, about energy, you'll know why that is happening. But we don't know about energy. You know what I'm saying? We don't know that we could be running out of gas real soon because we're consuming the heck out of gas.
Right, and it's not renewable.
It's not a renewable source. We're not realizing that we're having a problem with the byproducts of these said fuels and the way that they're tearing up, you know what I'm saying, the ozone. A lot of people like to bring up, oh, well, he backed out of the Paris Climate Accord, so he can't believe in climate change. No, he's actually said that he's believed in climate change. But what he also said was, and I pose this question to anyone, and please chime in, the Paris Climate Accord basically, in so many words, was stating that, hey, America, since the American Industrial Revolution, you have produced way more things than any other country in the world by factory. You outproduced us. You have to stop. You can't produce on that level anymore. Now, we're behind the 8 ball. We didn't produce like you produced. We're going to keep producing. You're not going to produce anymore. And you're going to pay us. Does that sound...
It definitely doesn't sound fair, so I'm going to have to check into that. But I was watching Rotten on Netflix, and this sounds really familiar with the catch. It's like catch quota for fishermen, and how major corporations, just because they could buy out smaller companies, now they're buying out these smaller companies and forcing them to pay over what they are allowed to catch for the day. And so it sounds really familiar. It's just like a monopoly.
In a sense.
Yes.
In a sense.
And it is, but this right here almost, it sounds like communism. And I have to say, communism in theory is not the same thing as communism in practice. Capitalism in theory is not the same thing as capitalism in practice. And I believe in capitalism in practice.
Yes.
Because there's no way I'm going to put in so much effort and dedicate basically my life to my business, and you tell me I can't make as much money as I want to. That sounds ridiculous.
Sound like a hater.
It sounds ridiculous.
Like a hater. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds ridiculous.
And that's you know what I'm saying, a lot of things that has been happening. But, you know what I'm saying, getting back to, you know what I'm saying, my topic of the regulations and things, there is so much red tape being removed from being able to start a business or open a business. And I know capital has been a big problem, especially in our community.
Right.
There's some capital rollback situations and more capital being put in place for us to actually open businesses. We just got to show that we're competent enough to be able to manage money properly, because we cannot manage money.
Well, since we're running out of time and you bring up a good point, can you give me some more background information on WFG?
WFG, World Financial Group. World Financial Group is a subsidiary of World System Builder. World System Builder is an organization built on having people basically understand the powers of finances. They're connected with Prudential, Allstate, what's the one with the world, with the Pacific Life, with the whale, different insurance organizations, to where you can actually better situate your life. You know what I'm saying? Long-term health, long-term care for when you get older, you get sickly, health care, insurance for your car, insurance for your business, things of that nature. And what they found out was, when it came down to insurances, is that people they just didn't know money. Right. They did not know how to move money. So they started a subsidiary, which is World Financial Group, which is bent on educating financially families around the country, so that they can better move and prepare for the future, so they won't be in debt, so there won't be so much debt within this country. And that's the mission that we're really on.
Where can I find more information on this?
World Financial Group, come to our offices. We're over on Paulson Street. You can Google us, World Financial Group, Savannah, World System Builders.
Awesome. Any final thoughts before we close out this session?
Well, I most definitely have to say thank you for inviting me. I'll
Thank you for
definitely,
coming.
you're so welcome. I'll come back because we have a whole lot more to talk
Oh,
on.
yeah.
We have a whole lot more to talk on, and I really want the people to know, you know what I'm saying, what's out there for them, because it's a lot of things out here for us. So, thanks, B. Ash. I know you're on the road. We told
Be
you.
safe. Yes.
We told you.
Girl.
Did she get on 75?
No, yes, she did.
Oh, okay. See? Mhm.
And then got stuck on 16. She's
Hard
like, I knew I
head.
should have took 21. I was like, see.
Hard head, brain soft booty.
Dang, just missed it. Oh yeah, Mark, you missed the whole show. So I'll post the live. You can go back and catch it later. It was good though. You're bad. So we're getting ready to close out. Thank you for listening to Real Talk. Just remember that the viewpoints expressed in the preceding program were not necessarily those of WRUU, its license holder, or its staff. You're listening to WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. Good night.
Smooth.